Welcome, my friends all over the world. LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you are. Oh, no, X. Speaking of which, we are going to be talking about Mr. X, Mr. Elon today. Well, I'd like to welcome you. I'm here with my brothers from the Project Leadership Institute with Ed and Daryl. And today we're going to be talking to you about artificial intelligence, and it's simply titled CSFS. So what do we mean? AI is artificial intelligence, CS is current state, FS is future state. Let's jump straight into a few introductions. We are all members of the Project Leadership Institute. You can go to projectleadershipinstitute.com to get more information. We're all authors of different topics in project management, leadership, and AI. And you can find us on social media, on LinkedIn, and wherever you have video playing, audio playing, we have podcasts, we have books, you'll find us out there. And those are our names. But let's jump straight into it. AI has become not just a buzzword for those in tech, it's become a buzzword for people in any industry. The current state of AI seems to be in a pretty safe space in that we don't wake up to crazy stories of AI taking over. But Daryl, let me ask you this. Do you think the stories of AI eventually becoming a draconian autonomous force? Do you think that there's any reality in that, or do you think that's just science fiction?
At this point in today's society, I think it's not science fiction. We're walking closer to AGI in that perspective of using the 10 stages of AI.
Hmm. What is AGI for the benefit of the watchers, Daryl, who don't have a clue?
Artificial general intelligence.
And how is that different from AI and ASI?
So with the 10 stages of AI, you got the first stage with it, which is the rule of knowledge-based systems. The second stage is context-based and retention systems, and that's where you're interacting with chatbots like ChatGPT um, at a one-to-one perspective, not having the chatbot fully interact with you like a human being. Um, the third stage is a narrow domain or expert AI system, and that's where you see automation like Smartsheets using it. Primavera P6 has some AI integration, and also Excel also can integrate with AI. Stage four is reasoning AI systems. Stage five, self-aware, and up to stage six, which is AGI, which is at this point in 2024, I believe, and I'm just being a Star Trek conspiracy theorist, person. I believe we are close to becoming AGI in today's world. And I don't think we're ready just yet to adopt to that.
Hmm. And Daryl, what about ASI? Um, what is
Mhm.
that?
So continuing on with the stages, so stage seven, that's where ASI comes into to play, which is artificial superintelligence. And from stages six to through 10, it's more the Star Trek level, the Megan movie, the movie by Tom Cruise, Minority Report. It's more in
Hmm.
that environment with stages six, seven, eight, nine, and 10. So stage seven is ASI. Stage eight is transcendent AI. Stage nine is cosmic AI, and then stage 10 is godlike AI, and that's where the impacts of humanity will probably be discussed at that point.
And those are all stages that we will tackle as we proceed, Daryl. But let's hear from our buddy Ed. Ed, what are your feelings about AI? Does it make you what? Just fill the blanks in. Tell us how AI makes you feel based on what you've heard.
That's a great question, Phil. I think for me, AI really is an assistant. to me as far as helping me achieve things faster than I normally would if I was just doing it myself. There is in anything, there are boundaries, there are ethics. I think that's what the conversation we are having here today is about ethics and boundaries. And so just learning from you two guys around those ethics and boundaries. So one, you don't step over it, and two, you have a better understanding how to move, proceed cautiously. When I would swim in a lake, they would always have it sectioned off at a certain aspect where you can't go beyond that because of the concern of they don't the things that they know that's behind that may not be safe for you. So again,
Mhm.
just you guys telling us about the boundaries and educating us is going to be key and huge.
Thank you for that, Ed. Speaking of what you just mentioned, ethics, let's talk about ethics. So, ethics in AI for project management is a curriculum that our buddy Daryl has been putting together. So, Daryl subtitles it Navigating the New Frontier Responsibly. You might remember the PMI has their code of ethics, and one of the key in their code of ethics is responsibility, right? So that is one of the major things that we definitely want you to think about. But who is Daryl? Daryl's our friend here who has put together this awesome content, and he's going to be walking us through it. Daryl is a PMP, as I said in the beginning. He's a project manager, and he's also very proficient with AI. He has been my AI coach, bringing AI to my attention, and he's also developed a chatbot for earned value. So, Daryl, you want to walk us through this introduction to AI and some of the things we mentioned? Anything you want to add in this slide?
So thank you, Phil, for opening up this dialogue for project managers, because the honest reasoning of why I wanted to create this presentation is because we don't talk about this, and I know industry um, discreetly is discussing ethics and how to integrate ethics in within AI, using AI with project management. But with exploring AI chatbots, using multiple agents, as far as having them work for me, I found it more ethically, more, I guess, ethics needs to be more important than just creating a chatbot, for project
Hmm.
management. And that's the reason why I decided to create this content or put my thoughts down in paper.
Got it. Got it. And for those who are excited about the topic that they found in the introduction, yes, we're going to talk a little bit about the Elon thing. So if that's what you're here for, don't go. We're going to get to that because I know that you AI aficionados, you know what's in the news. So we're going to talk about that. But thank you for that, Daryl. Let's talk about why ethics matter and its possible impacts to stakeholders. And right off the bat, I just say ethics matter in anything you do, whether you're a primary school teacher, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a lawyer, as we can see the current state of law happening in the state of Atlanta and what's been in the news. Obviously, ethics is at the core of everything. So, ethics do matter in artificial intelligence. But the thing about ethics in AI is an emergent technology, if you will. And for that reason, we do need to start talking about it because things could go downhill. They could spiral very quickly. We could have people using AI for, well, they're already doing that, right? AI for ill, but they could use AI for ill on a grand scale, unlike a nuclear scale. But Daryl, give us some more insights to the ethical imperative.
So I'm going to point out some areas or reasons of why I think AI or ethics matter within the AI perspective. So one, bias and fairness. AI systems can unintentionally perpetuate and amplify existing biases if it's not properly monitored and managed. I feel that the help to identify and mitigate these biases, it will distort that in some way. Two, the data privacy and security, and that's where government, can come into to play, where the concern of proprietary data. AI systems often require large amounts of data, which may include sensitive information, ethical guidelines, which it's needs to be handled responsibly, and of course, we all need to respect privacy and maintain that security. Um, Third, which is transparency, and in my opinion, transparency goes a long way. Within AI, AI systems can often act as black boxes, making decisions that human can't easily understand. Ethical considerations ensure transparency in AI decision-making process. But like I said, we all need that human in the loop at this point.
Mm,
And of
absolutely.
course, the legal side, ethics, as far as why it matters, it can help project managers stay abreast of evolving legal terms with this whole copyright information, stealing proprietary information, and it just prevents it from all that, from getting you in trouble. And then last but not least is social responsibility. And with today's current events, it's gonna AI is playing a huge part in our daily lives.
Mm. Great point, Daryl. And I mean, you've hit the nail on the head because the AI tool, the AI itself, is using data sets created by humans. So there's obviously going to be biases in there. There's going to be things that need to be reviewed on a deeper level. And you've talked about project management and AI. Let's talk about consequences of AI on project outcomes. Well, right off the bat, Daryl, I know a lot of companies. I was just speaking to one of our members, Project Leadership Institute members, yesterday, and we discovered that even Gemini had been blocked. Not only ChatGPT, but even Gemini from Google. I mean, most people say, "Oh, Google will use Google to do whatever." We use Google Sheets, but when it came to Gemini, it was blocked. Based on your findings and the reasonings, Daryl, why do you think a company would block Gemini from their
Because
systems?
it's it's not fair to pick sides, in today's world. I know Gemini had that issue, or is having that issue of white people, um, especially generating images. I know
Mm,
I've seen the the pictures that it published, and I know it's probably erased out of the internet, maybe, but it needs to be equal in that
mhm.
perspective.
That's true. Absolutely. So let me ask our buddy Daryl one more question about AI being used for work that may not use the company's proprietary information. Let me give you an example. A project manager is asked to carry out a certain task. The project manager decides to use ChatGPT to carry out the task, not bringing in any proprietary information from the company into GPT, and then takes the output and uses it in their work. What do we think about that from an ethics perspective, Daryl? Is that ethical? Is that unethical? Your boss didn't ask you if you used AI. Your boss didn't ask you to use AI, but you did. What do you think about that?
This is where we as project managers will challenge our integrity and our courage to be forefront of using AI. Um, I myself are challenged, or is still challenged, by communication. I'm still
Mm,
trying to articulate the right words, and by using ChatGPT, it they're two different perspectives. ChatGPT is a excellent wordsmith, and if
yes.
you have me speak in front of a camera, in front of an audience, I
Mm,
speak differently.
mm,
And for me to use ChatGPT and read word for word, you can
mm,
automatically see the differences between the two. So
mm,
by overcoming that ability to not say a word of, hey, I did not use AI, or I used AI with this, I think that's where project managers will be able to succeed in their job skills. Soft skills is what I feel also will be part of it.
mm. And what I've heard people say is, well, what is the difference between modern day ChatGPT versus in old times a calculator, or versus in old times maybe a teleprompt? Do you see some similarities, or are they so far removed that it is so different that project managers each and every time need to disclose when AI is used? Do you think that could become a broken record? It's like saying, did you use Excel to calculate these metrics? You get what I'm saying? So, what I'm
Mm.
hearing from some project managers is they are viewing GPT as the modern day calculator. What do you think about that?
I'm going to agree to disagree with that, and that's my experience and and use case with using AI in my daily life.
Mm,
Um, it's not just using a calculator. A calculator is limited. A calculator only calculates specific equations and so forth. Vice
mhm,
AI has been fed data from w- the way back from the Stone Age all the way up to the current day. So
mhm,
it's what we feed it. So there are two different perspectives of a calculator and using AI. I was in agreement with that a year ago of saying, okay, it's just like a calculator. Now I can say it's not because
mm,
the AI that we're training as a society, it's learning by itself and it's
mm.
providing accurate data based upon what we feed it.
Hey, Daryl,
Absolutely.
I had a quick question, Phil. Last statement.
Go
I
for
want
it.
to build off that point that you were saying because that really just made me think of something. Because when you think about, uh, I don't know about you, Daryl, but when I'm sending a text, it's like it's already putting the words ahead of what I'm getting ready before I have to say it. And all of us, okay, now I don't have to spell that word out. But even let's step back before that. When the phone we all, I used to have to, don't judge me, but I had a booklet of people's phone numbers until I remembered them. And then once I remembered them, I didn't need that particular booklet. But then with our phones, now it's just right now, I couldn't say, well, if someone just asked me Daryl's number, I couldn't tell them their number. I got to go in my phone and look and dial it. So I'm glad you put that you went deeper on that what you said of is not like a calculator because the information you got to feed it and it sounds like what you're saying it is getting smarter and it's getting faster on based on the context and information we're providing. Is that kind of what you're saying there?
To separate conspiracy theories out there, it's not getting smarter, it's
Okay.
getting better at what it's trained to do.
Hmm. It's becoming more autonomous.
At this point, to stay away from the conspiracy of everything out there, um, we're walking towards it, but I believe the government and all the agencies, entities out there are probably looking into it at this point.
Yes. Let's move swiftly, Daryl. So you've pretty much talked about biases, sources of biases in AI hiring systems. Let's run through this very quickly. I mean, without a doubt, as humans are biased, it's possible that AI could be biased in its hiring systems. This is also something that people are requesting be brought to the table if AI is being used in hiring decisions, which it already is being, at least in for screening for interviews. People are saying that you need to come forth and declare it. What do you think about that statement? Should every hiring organization have to declare AI was used in determining the candidates?
It could help in the hiring process. However, we still got to deal with the future. We got a dude that just came out publicly and said, "I can put a microchip in another person's brain to enhance that that intellectual mindset." So,
Hmm.
my question back is how do we handle that as project managers, even as hiring managers, when you have a a position where you are told to hire at least two people, for example.
Mm,
You do all the process in the hiring process, and you have two people. The first person is just a normal average Joe. The second person has the microchip that Elon
mm,
Musk is inventing.
mm.
How would you handle that in regards to, does that put that second person at an advance, just like a college degree?
Well, Daryl, let's be honest. My perspective, the human race can only hold out for so long. In the next 100, 200 years, I believe microchips are going to be pretty common to augment the human mind. And it's going to be like, well, if you can afford it, you get it. If you can't afford it, you don't get it. And no one's going to say, you're using AGI or you're using enhanced human intelligence. It's not fair. No, it's just part of it's like getting a degree. That's what it's going to get in my mind. That's what it's going to become. It's actually going to become more severe in my mind because let's talk about future state. Let's talk about vision casting for the future. My vision of AI in the future is it's going to get to the point where you own a suite of robots, and that suite of robots can do whatever you want within the law, but you don't have to have a human to mow the lawn. I mean, we're already seeing that. Come on now. I mean, McDonald's probably is already seeing years into the future where they replace probably 95. And, don't quote me on the number. I'm just saying any visionary who is worth their salt should be thinking about how robots will eventually take on those tasks, those menial tasks, making a sandwich, making a burger. I mean, come on now. What do you think about that, Darryl? Do you think we're going to be able to hold out for so long to prevent the microchip people from taking over the force?
I don't think we're going to be having robots help out, with the chores in the near future, Phil. I honestly feel that robots will play an important role in the warehouses, the manufacturing places, like Amazon warehouse,
They already are, though.
Tesla,
They are.
but not fully to where they're firing, their employees and using
Well, the menial
robots.
jobs, like I mean, like you have robots that already help at home. We just don't call them robots, but they can clean. It
Right.
will come to the point where it is so common that having those tools would just be like a dishwasher. Like back in the day, the dishwasher, oh my goodness. And I believe that's where it's going to get to in the future. I believe there's only so much holdout that humans will have, but eventually it is going. Just look at the universities they were holding out in the beginning, but look at them now. They're the worst culprits, charging $5,000 for a measly little AI course. It just shows you the way the human mind will eventually adapt. And by the time we're in the next generation and the next and the next, the changes just keep becoming so dramatic that people from the 1700s, they'll be rolling the graves wondering, my goodness, what are people doing today? But I believe that effect will still be in time to come. So while I agree that, we should definitely have ethics and stem the tide, I believe there's only going to be so much. I mean, look at social media. Back in the early days, it was social media should be relegated to people of a certain age. Now, every kid's got TikTok in their pocket. You know what I mean, Daryl? So those are my thoughts. But what I'm curious to know what you're thinking and what Ed is thinking about that future.
Ed, do you want to tackle this first?
Yeah, I'll go first because you've call you Daniel's son over there with the information because you're good with this AI stuff. But for me, it's funny you say that too, Phil. And I think I've shared this privately, but share it publicly as well about the AI seen at fast food restaurants. More or less, more recently, by me, they built two restaurants, McDonald's, probably within 10, 15 minutes distance in between each other, and they have everything is automated except them taking your money. And the food, I don't know about the food process, but what I mean, the automation piece is normally you would go up to the register and say, hey, I like to order this, this, and this. And there would be a person taking it, and then you would go through that whole transaction. Now it's you tap this right here, tap this thing. They you pay with your if you go inside, and what they've done, this is what lets me know kind of what you're saying in the future. They've shrunken the footprint of those restaurants, meaning normally you would see McDonald's that would be pretty big with a play area, but this recent one that's been built over here by me, they've shrunken the footprint, and it's not that many seats in there. But the experience is, I'm gonna be honest with you, is amazing, and it's fast. I mean, it's like you go in, by the time you even think about sitting down for maybe 1 or 2 minutes, everything is there, and they call your order out, and you go and pick it up from the slot that it was placed in. So I do believe that future, you're going to see a lot of impact with jobs being replaced by AI because of the quickness and the speed, and they don't want to take a day off. So I'll turn it over to you, Daryl.
In my prediction and opinion, Phil and Ed, is that AI is here to stay, but at the same time, I'm still a fan of having it regulated and having it in the human in the loop type of perspective.
Mm.
And this is me talking out of experience with exploring these chatbots and using other large language models besides ChatGPT, and how it's providing an accurate and articulate response to questions, even as project managers. And my thought process is, if someone can create content so easily for a YouTube video, why can't I apply that same type of mindset and process to project management?
Mm-hmm.
What's stopping me from doing that? And that's the reason why I explore AI and using these chatbots to understand why can I do that? Because
Mm-hmm.
we could all easily write content right now and read off the script in a matter of minutes.
That's true.
Why can I use that for project management?
Who said we can't? It's all about transparency, right? If you're being transparent and forthcoming, I guess the thing about project management, Daryl, let me tell you my thoughts about project management. It's really geared at the outcome. And the outcome, you derive the outcome through a number of things. Could be a deliverable, which could be a product, it could be a service or result. If AI can help us in the development of the product, why can't AI help us in the management of the endeavor to build? What I see a lot of concerns with when you talk about project management and AI, people's concern isn't even in using AI to write code. You know this, Darryl, because you write Python code, you use the AI tool to make all sorts of great code shortcuts for you. And nobody frowns at that. But people frown more on using AI to manage the product than to create the product. And I think we are misguided in that regard. I think we need to wake up and smell the coffee and just see AI as being, it's here to stay. It should be regulated. I'm more concerned with the AI that can hurt humans in different ways, that can be unfair to humans, such as what we're seeing on the screen, than I am about it's going to take your brain power. You're going to become lazy, if you get what I mean. So my concerns are different. My concerns are more about the human well-being than they are about, oh, it's going to make you late. There will always be lazy people. In my mind, the new lazy person is the person who doesn't want to learn about AI, right? In my mind, that's now the new normal lazy person. In the past, it used to be the person who wouldn't study, but now it's the person who won't study and the person who won't learn about AI. So they're dead in the water both ways. But that's just my perspective. But in the interest of time, Daryl, I would love for you to talk a little bit about the slides that we have not hit, especially this one. Let's go straight to the Elon story. Can you give us the 411 about the Elon story at a high level?
So just reading the articles and watching the AI influencers like Matt Wolf, Dave Shapiro, Wes Roth, um, uh, Matt VidPro, World of AI. There's many out there as far as AI influencers, and believe it or not, there's more people coming out with AI inventions.
Hmm.
Excuse me,
Wow.
but with the Elon Musk and the Sam Altman, I guess
Saga.
uh, altercation or disagreement is that Elon is really concerned about how AI will impact humanity. And I know he's mentioned that in the Joe Rogan podcast. He's very concerned about that, which I agree. With Elon's perspective of how AI will, you know, hurt us human beings. And his concern is very validated in today's current events. With Sam Altman, I know he's pushing more towards the commercial side, and I know may maybe our AGI in that perspective, and you never know. They prob OpenAI probably achieved AGI, but they won't know until they probably publish this out. But I believe that with this Elon Musk and Sam Altman disagreement, I think it will come out. The truth will come out, from this.
Do you think Elon's approach, like making it a full-blown lawsuit, is a prudent way to proceed with this? Do you think this could have been something one should make some mediation, arbitration attempts to settle, or going full-on out lawsuit? Do you think that is a good way
Phil,
to
we can go
proceed?
down this rabbit hole with a lot of conspiracy theories, going down to Microsoft. We all know Microsoft is Bill Gates. And we
Yes.
all know that he's very involved with the government. And the world in general. Um, so Elon is probably concerned about where and how it impacts humanity. And like he mentioned in Joe Rogan's podcast, the OpenAI project is supposed to be open source, not closed source. Right now, OpenAI is a closed source project where you can't even go in and ask ChatGPT for its code. You'd have
Mm,
to do some dissecting and some good questioning, good prompting to get that. I know there's people done it. I know software engineers and AI influencers have done it, and they have published it. They have put it out on YouTube. If you actually YouTube it, you can actually grab the prompt engineering data from ChatGPT just by using some
mm.
sort of questioning and reasoning. But with OpenAI and where it stands now, I believe they're closer to AGI than just AI itself.
Mm. I believe so too. Yeah, absolutely. Ed, any thoughts on this news about the lawsuit between OpenAI and Elon? Any thoughts?
No, I think Daryl is knocking it out the park with this. This is this is breaking news to me in a sense because I'm uh, learning the disconnect. Like I was looking at the slide in 2018. Elon Musk left. I didn't even know that. So just to continually to learn about these things is amazing. You got Daryl, you're doing such an amazing job. Thanks for sharing with us.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ed, for weighing in there because I know a lot of PMs who are watching, they see AI as been, it's not really in my domain. I'm going to leave it to those IT people. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Really dig into the world of artificial intelligence. We have a number of channels between us that regularly feature artificial intelligence. If you go to the Daryl, you want to mention your channel's name? What's the at? Is it at Influence IPM, or what is the at
So
on YouTube for your channel?
my YouTube channel was at Influence IPM.
Great. And then you can also get more on at AI Leadership channel. You can also get more on at Project Leadership Institute channel for AI. We're very enthusiastic about it. I have written 3 books on AI, about just how to understand AI, the basics of it. I've written the RGB prompt engineering model. I've written a book called the Hollywood model, which is for writers who want to use AI for that. I've written about AI superhero, and I've written about AI for project managers. And you can find all of these on Amazon. But before we go today, Daryl, let's talk about some really interesting facts about AI, which people may not know. And then we'll double back down on our next episode and talk about them. So when we talk about regulations and that there should be some legal standard, we're saying this not just because we want to regulate how people do business. We're doing it because AI has a massive footprint. Let's talk about AI's present power. 35% of businesses have already adopted AI, with that number expected to skyrocket in the coming years. AI is silently embedded in 77% of the devices we use, from smartphones to smartwatches. You may not even know that there's AI embedded in a lot of the tools you use. And a staggering 400 million jobs globally could be displaced by AI automation by 2030. In fact, there was an organization who my buddy Ed on the call here sent me information about, and we realized that there's a potential for 700 jobs, 700 agents in one organization to be replaced. It's very startling. And as far as the potential future, the AI market is projected to grow at a mind-blowing 38% annually, reaching value of over 1.8 trillion. In my mind, that's easily by 2030. In my mind, that's even an understatement at the way things are going. AI-powered healthcare diagnostics could lead to earlier disease detection, potentially save millions of lives. Before we got on, I was talking to my buddy Daryl about how you might be able to thwart crimes in the future with AI, right, Daryl? We're just having that discussion. I truly believe those times will come a lot sooner than we think. But some experts have warned that advanced AI could pose an existential threat to humanity if not developed responsibly. But here are my thoughts. Here we are in our USA bubble, and I call it USA bubble because that's where we are. But we don't know what other countries are thinking or doing. Do you think they're just sitting down there waiting for OpenAI to bring out the next wave of AI? No. Daryl, what do you think other countries are doing right now as we speak?
They're doing the exact same thing we in America are doing, you know, using AI and making it much better for ourselves. And the 2030 prediction is is publicly announced, you know, via YouTube and AI influencers. Um, and it's walking towards the the universal basic income, or UBI, or even
Mm,
UBS, which is the universal basic services. And that's where socialism comes into play, you know, and Marxism, whatever comes into play. But who knows?
hmm. Those are really futuristic thoughts for those who have not thought about it. We encourage you to get on the wagon and learn a little bit more. We're not getting political here for those who are thinking, did he just say? No, we're not getting political. We're just being factual. That's what's to come. What I want to say in closing to our project managers is just be open in mind. Like our buddy Ed just shared, you got to be open in mind. Ed, do you want to share your closing thoughts before we hop off today?
Yeah, I mean, I just like to say that, when you have an opportunity to be in a room with women like this, for them to take time out of their day. This is a Saturday. Most people are probably either just waking up or just doing their chores around the house, and now probably about to sit down. But these gentlemen took the time out their day to really extract from what they've been testing and basically experimenting on. And I think with AI, no matter of fact, I know with AI, you have to experiment, you have to learn. And the whole talk of this is the ethics piece of how to make sure you're ethical when you're doing and being transparent about what you're doing. So I'm grateful to these gentlemen that they take the time out to explain to us more about AI, and I'm looking forward to future episodes, and I'll hold them accountable. Okay, family? Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. And in closing, we're just going to say be progressive in your mindset. Don't be closed minded about AI, be open minded to it to learn more about it. And beyond just reading about, oh, this is what is coming. No, actually understand a little bit about prompt engineering in your field. I want to challenge you personally to go on down to barge.google.com. It's now Gemini, but that link will still lead you there, or go on down to chat.openai.com, set up an account, begin to find out what this buzz is all about. Because I know there's still some people like the resistance holding on. I actually have a family member who said, I'm not going to do AI because it hurts people. Seriously? Serious? Okay. Well, with that, we're done for the day. From me, it's goodbye. And from my awesome brothers here,
Goodbye.
all
Thank you.
right.